Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News on LA56.
The search is on for whoever shot a man and woman on their porch. Now we're hearing from the victim's mother.
An 8-hour standoff in Pico Rivera ends with the suspect shot and killed, but an innocent man is caught in the crossfire. We hear from the victim's family.
And a summer storm over parts of the Southland. Some areas seeing heavy rain today, and dozens of cyclists caught in the storm in the mountains had to be treated for hypothermia. Good evening, I'm Jory Rand.
I'm Giovanna Lotta. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56. Two family members were gunned down outside their Pomona home. Police don't know who shot them or why. Eyewitness News reporter Amy Powell spoke to the mother of one of the victims.
Yes, here, in the window, into the...
Bullets pierced the door and a window of the Porter family's home. Several family members were inside the house around 11:45 last night when gunmen burst through a gate.
Boom, boom. I said, they right at the door. They killers. I said, call 911. They out here trying to kill somebody.
Freddie Porter's youngest sister, 49-year-old Benny Porter, was sitting on the patio with her brother-in-law, 59-year-old Lafrella Alexander. Relatives say both were shot multiple times.
So when we heard the shots, we thought it was firecrackers. And it go boom, 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 and this 10 or 12 shots. And then we all come running out. We came out, and this was my daughter laying on the ground.
The family says Porter and Alexander had just returned from the store and decided to sit outside the house on the 1000 block of East Lexington Avenue because of the heat inside. Alexander died at the scene. Porter was rushed to a hospital where she was pronounced dead. The family can't understand why anyone would attack them.
Oh, she was so loving and outgoing, you know. Everybody loved her. I'm going to miss her. She always looked out for me. But, you know, he didn't have anything with anybody. He was a really loving person. And always wanted to help people, help older people. He always helping people.
Lula Porter says she's lost 2 grandsons in recent years, one from gun violence. Now she's mourning the tragic death of her youngest daughter and a son-in-law.
And I left Compton to come to Pomona, you know, for better my life, better for my kids.
If you have any information about these murders, you can call Crime Stoppers. That number, 1-800-222-8477. In Pomona, Amy Powell, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Another big story today, the weather. In Forest Falls, people got a cold, wet surprise, a rainstorm in the summer. And those who decided to go hiking or have a picnic in Forest Falls were caught off guard. Meanwhile, some 40 bicyclists were treated for minor to moderate hypothermia during the annual Tour de Big Bear. They were taken back to the starting line and treated, but the race continued. And a blinding dust storm triggered a pileup in Newberry Springs near Barstow. Eastbound Interstate 40 in the area remains closed tonight as crews clear an accident involving 10 big rigs and 4 cars. Authorities say 9 people had minor injuries. Danny Romero has been tracking the wild weather and joins us now with the very latest. Danny?
Thanks, Jory. Giovanna, we look at our live Mega Doppler 7000 HD to give you an idea exactly where this rain is moving through right now. We look at a few hours back, we can see the little orange and red areas below Palm Springs up around Big Bear. Those are the stronger thunderstorm cells that moved through earlier in the afternoon. As we look now, the very last frame shows you there's still some light rain moving over those mountain and desert areas, but you can see it's pretty confined to those spots. The coastal spots right now looking fairly clear. We're staying that way at this part of the nighttime, but we're still seeing some warmth in the air, that humidity in the air. We will want to put up a flash flood watch right now in many of these desert and mountain areas. There we're going to see that flash flood watch until 8 p.m. tomorrow because there's still more heat and humidity in place, giving us the chance for flash floods, although none happening now, but the watch in effect till tomorrow night. However, beyond that, some changes in the weather. I'll tell you about it when I come back alive. Mega Doppler 7000 HD 7-day in just a little bit. Right now, Jory and Giovanna, go ahead.
Danny, thanks. And make sure you stay on top of these summer storms anytime. Just download our free Mega Doppler weather app to get the latest forecast for your neighborhood whenever you want. It's available in the App Store and Google Play. Just search Mega Doppler.
After an 8-hour standoff, Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies shoot and kill a parolee holding a woman hostage in her home, but the woman's husband is caught in the crossfire. It happened on Rose Hedge Drive in Pico Rivera. Eyewitness News reporter Q McCrae reports.
LA County deputies pulled out all the stops, bringing in SWAT, helicopters, and heavy firepower. A wanted parolee barricaded himself inside Frank and Lorraine Mendoza's house. Word quickly spread to their large family.
It was surreal. Couldn't even believe what was happening.
This entire neighborhood was on lockdown for 15 plus hours. Investigators say it all started around 5 p.m. Friday in the 9000 block of Rose Hedge Drive in Pico Rivera. Deputies say they confronted the suspect, who pulled out a gun, opened fire, then broke into the Mendoza home.
So the deputies were able to open the front door and start escorting the people outside the house. While they were in the process of doing that, the suspect started shooting at the deputies from inside the house. The deputies returned fire.
54-year-old Frank Mendoza was killed in the crossfire.
My father-in-law was a great man, hardworking. He's just a man of all mans. He was great. He was wonderful.
After 8+ hours of hostage negotiating, SWAT busted through the front door and killed the suspect. Still recovering from a stroke just days ago, 60-year-old Lorraine was taken to the hospital. Authorities have no idea why the parolee and well-known gang member chose the Mendoza house.
It doesn't look like the victims knew this guy. They weren't friends, so it just looks like it was a crime of opportunity.
The suspect's name was Cedric Ramirez. He was 24 years old. Lorraine Mendoza, she's at the hospital right now. She'll be okay. Frank Mendoza is survived by 8 children, 12 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. In Pico Rivera, I'm Hugh McCrae, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
In Panorama City, an investigation is underway following a murder-suicide on the 8700 block of Tobias Street. Detectives say the 40-year-old suspect shot and killed his wife while their family was home, including 7 children ages 1 to 19. Officers say the 21-year-old boyfriend of the 19-year-old daughter was there when the first shots were fired. The boyfriend managed to wrestle the shooter out of the apartment, and that's when the suspect shot and killed himself. None of the children nor the boyfriend were injured.
Now to the war in Gaza. A soldier believed to be captured by Hamas militants has been declared dead by Israel's military. Meanwhile, Israel's prime minister warns Hamas today that if it continues to fire rockets, it will pay a, quote, intolerable price. The warning came after Israel signaled a plan to scale back its military operation in Gaza. However, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned that Israeli troops will operate as long as necessary to restore peace for its citizens. Israel says once the Hamas military tunnels are destroyed along the Gaza border, then they will reassess the war.
We managed to hurt severely the strategic system that Hamas actually built for many years.
The Palestinian resistance has the right to self-defense and the right to deal with the invading Israeli forces.
More than 70 Palestinians were killed in Israeli airstrikes today. That brings the death toll to more than 1,700 since these latest clashes began early last month. Among the dead, 9 UN relief agency workers, some of whom were in schools and shelters at the time. According to that agency, there are currently more than 250,000 displaced residents in just 90 shelters.
Here at home, Palestinian supporters are demanding an end to Israel's strikes. The Answer Coalition held demonstrations in front of the federal building in Westwood today. The protests included a march in solidarity with the Palestinian people. Many supporters here are accusing Israel of leading a massacre in Gaza, and they want Israeli troops to get out.
The American doctor who contracted the Ebola virus in Africa is now back on American soil. He landed in Atlanta this morning. ABC's chief medical editor, Dr. Richard Besser, has more.
Walking. That's him on the right, the first Ebola patient ever in the United States, in full biohazard suit, supported by a medical worker. It's a hopeful sign. The plane carrying Dr. Brantley touched down here at Dobbins Air Reserve Base at 11:20 a.m. He was held for the crew's protection in an isolation chamber like this one, developed by the CDC to transport those stricken with the most dangerous diseases. Dr. Brantley was then taken from the base to Emory University Hospital. He got out of the ambulance and, under his own power, walked into the special entrance of the hospital. This is the isolation room he is now in. And this is how his doctors will look.
We put tape between the uniform and the gloves just to form an extra barrier.
It's a demonstration by the University of Nebraska Medical Center. Anyone going in to see Dr. Brantley will be completely covered like this, gowned, gloved, and taped, faces behind protective plastic. The Ebola virus spreads by contact with contaminated body fluids. That's what the medical staff here in Atlanta must avoid. I'm hearing people in Atlanta are really scared and think this is a bad idea.
I understand the public concern. This is a new infection for the United States, but we really think that we have processes that maintain, again, the safety of not just the patients, but the general public at large.
There's no medicine that defends against Ebola, no cure. What can you do for him here that he couldn't get in Liberia?
A lot of it is sort of the really important supportive care. So it's frequent vital signs, IV fluids if necessary, blood transfusions if necessary.
The fact that he entered the hospital walking is a tremendously encouraging sign to doctors and to his family.
It takes a lot of worry and care about other people to put your own life at risk for people you don't know. That's what it takes to make this world a better place.
That was ABC's Richard Besser. A second American aid worker infected with the virus is expected to arrive at the same hospital in the next couple of days.
He's a con artist deported for scamming local businesses.
So how is he still causing companies problems? We'll have the latest on this story we've been following for nearly 4 years now.
Plus, the governor has declared a state of emergency due to several massive wildfires burning in Northern California. Details when we come right back.
Governor Jerry Brown has declared a state of emergency because of 6 major wildfires burning in central and far northern California. The most serious fire is burning near the community of Day, where at least 150 homes have been evacuated. Dry lightning sparked the fire on Wednesday. Since then, it has torched nearly 19.5 square miles. The fire is only 10% contained at this point. Firefighters fear winds from looming thunderstorms could spell trouble. No injuries have been reported. And caught on tape, a rare tornado twisting through Turkey. This is video of the tornado as it touched down near Istanbul. So far, no serious damage has been reported. The tornado was spawned by a severe weather system hitting the city. That storm also dumped heavy rains, which led to some flooding.
Danny Romero joining us now to talk about the weather. So many weird happenings in the weather, it seems.
You know,
it's unusual.
It's that heat, that humidity, and these things kind of just go kind of nuts. And we have similar circumstances in place this weekend, not near as bad as last week, but just the same. Let's take a look at them on the Live Mega Opera 7000 HD. We can show you right now that there is still certainly some moisture going on in the air, and it's showing up over the area, and we'll see things kind of turn around for us in a little bit. The next couple of days will start to dry up, but for now, we do have all that moisture in place. We can show it here on the Live Mega Opera 7000 HD. We roll it back, we can show you some thunderstorms that happened a little earlier around the desert areas, around Hemet and Palm Springs, up around Big Bear as well. But now the latest frame right here shows things are pretty scattered, but light rain over the mountain and the desert areas heading into a Saturday night. Speaking of that, look at this. I promise you, this has not been photoshopped. This is a live HD camera. Jay in our booth is taking care of business on this one, man. Look at that LAX camera view of sunset officially a few minutes ago. But, man, that is Southern California. That's, you know, it's all right to have the clouds in place. You get that kind of picture. Here's our downtown look. The LA skyline on the cloudy side, 75 degrees our temp. We're looking at just a breeze of 5 miles per hour, 71% relative humidity and barometer on the rise. Today temperature, we topped off at 90 degrees downtown. 84 is the normal temp for this date. That beautiful sunset, 7:53 officially, and then sunrise tomorrow at 6:06. Watch the energy in place here. We roll our future scan in motion. We watch tonight into tomorrow. Look at all the energy cooking over here on our coastal and mountain areas. It's this high that's to our east that's going to drive things a little bit. But really the real culprit of all of our weather is this spinning low happening right there. You can see the energy just spinning around in that counterclockwise motion, all that moisture in place with the heat. Speaking of heat, look at these numbers. Overnight lows are in the 70s about everywhere you look. 73 San Bernardino, 74 in Glendale and Encino, 72 overnight in Simi Valley, as cool as it's going to get. Tomorrow the heat returns, but not quite as hot. 90s for Santa Clarita and the high desert, 78 in Malibu, 84 for Long Beach, 86 for Covina, and we'll get to 88 in San Bernardino. Here's our 7-day power back AccuWeather showing you a chance of showers tomorrow. That includes the coastal spots tomorrow. Still some clouds and humidity in place Monday, but then less so by Tuesday. And then by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we're into our marine layer pattern. Morning clouds, afternoon sunshine, less humidity, and cooler temps, actually, at 82 for Friday and Saturday. Our valleys in the Inland Empire will be muggy and chance of thunderstorms again tomorrow. Still humid but hotter on Monday. Here comes a bit of a drop in numbers and less of that humidity in the air as we head towards the weekend. Mountain spots will have thunderstorm chances and warm conditions for Sunday, Monday. And then by Tuesday, it's just windy, less cloud cover, and then warm, mid-70s as we head towards the weekend with some windy conditions there as well. Looking ahead now, the high desert there. Clouds in place, the heat as well, and that means thunderstorm chances for Sunday and Monday, then clearing out for Tuesday and Wednesday, and by Thursday and Friday, temps in the mid to lower 90s, but that heat will be a dry heat, and that's good.
It is good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Danny.
Danny, thanks. An update now on a long-running Eyewitness News investigation into Alfredo Garcia, a notorious serial plaintiff, convicted felon, and undocumented immigrant. He has now been deported to Mexico.
For nearly 4 years, we've been telling you about Garcia, who filed more than 800 lawsuits against local businesses under the Americans with Disabilities Act, all while living in the U.S. illegally. Despite his deportation, the legal nightmare continues for dozens of business owners. And as our own Mark Brown tells us, your tax dollars are paying for Garcia's lawsuits.
The last time we caught up with Alfredo Garcia, he'd filed 615 ADA lawsuits. He told us then he was going to stop filing lawsuits, but that turned out not to be true.
What do you want me to do?
Now Garcia is up to 811 lawsuits, including one he filed against Maria Barrias of Plaza de Mariscos.
I think he should have been in jail before he was deported.
Maria, an immigrant herself, says she'll fight the case.
It's hard to believe that the law protects people like him.
Garcia makes his living filing lawsuits, and it's incredibly profitable. Based on his previously disclosed settlements, Eyewitness News can estimate Garcia has collected $1.2 million from his lawsuits so far. Despite that $1 million plus, Garcia asks for and receives fee waivers from the court.
I don't have no money.
That means taxpayers like you are picking up the tab for all his court costs.
It's a huge impact on taxpayers.
Attorney Jim Link has been tracking Garcia for years and helped to expose Garcia's fee waiver fraud.
There's a huge fraud on the system when it comes to these serial litigants who are making tremendous amounts of money, but yet not paying the court system that they're using to collect this money.
Garcia was briefly ordered in 2012 to pay half his court fees. That's when he stopped filing lawsuits. But in June of last year, Garcia started filing lawsuits again, and his court fees are once again being waived 100%.
I think he deceived the court because he certainly didn't tell them that he was ordered to pay 50% fees when he filed the fee waiver applications.
Grand total for all the court fees waived for Alfredo Garcia, more than $213,000 taxpayer dollars.
People like that give all of us a bad name.
Maria is one of 80 local business owners still facing a lawsuit filed by Alfredo Garcia. Sue Ayung's case with Garcia went to trial days before he was deported.
He just wants to make money on his pocket. That's it.
Sue's attorney, James Sun, questioned Garcia's motivation for filing the lawsuits.
The way the law is written, it creates a bounty system for people like Mr. Garcia to go and hit up all the businesses on an entire block or entire neighborhoods or entire cities.
So what happens now to Garcia's 80 ongoing lawsuits against business owners?
What it means for the cases is I think they're going to all have to be ultimately dismissed because I don't think he's going to be allowed to come back into the country to testify.
But not all of the business owners know Garcia is out of the country, presumably for good. Richard Palomo of El Tarasco is one of the many business owners we reached out to.
He said that there was no handicap parking at all.
Richard has already spent hundreds of dollars responding to Garcia's lawsuit.
I think he's just after the money.
Mark Brown, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Garcia's longtime attorney, Morris Merbon, did not return our many phone calls and emails. Eyewitness News reached Garcia by phone in Mexico. He told our producer to, quote, mind your own expletive business. And then he hung up.
Not very nice. Ahead on Eyewitness News, a food truck fire at an event in Venice. We'll show you the damage. Plus this.
Technology making cars more comfortable, more fun to drive, and yes, safer. I'm car specialist Dave Coons, and it's not just luxury cars anymore. The technology is trickling down throughout the industry. I'll have the story coming up.
Do you have a question for Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti? Log on at abc7.com/newsmakers, then click on Submit Your Question. He could answer it on an upcoming edition of Eyewitness Newsmakers. Technology in cars keeps improving, especially when it comes to safety.
While many of these innovations have come with a hefty price tag in the past, car specialist Dave Coons says these days they're starting to show up on more low-priced models.
Some new Jaguars showing off their speed on a twisty track of cones. But this exercise is not just about performance, it demonstrates safety features too.
You know, with all our stability aids and traction controls, those systems are working for you all the time.
Here's a great look at what electronic stability control can do on a simulated sheet of slick ice. Switched off, the big XJ sedan's wheels spin like crazy. But with it on, no drama, just smooth forward progress.
Here today, we're learning how those systems benefit us.
More and more, technology is helping keep cars from drifting out of their lanes or even avoiding a rear-end collision by knowing that a slow or stopped car is just ahead. Cameras are everywhere these days, and they're making cars safer too. No, not just in the back to help you with reversing, but in the front of the car, acting as an extra set of eyes and watching the road for you. Pretty much every top-of-the-line luxury sedan is using them these days for safety and convenience, like the new Mercedes-Benz S-Class, a car that in prior generations has pioneered things like airbags and anti-lock brakes. Today's Big Benz keeps its occupants safe by taking measurements of everything multiple times every second. And if you often find yourself in dark areas at night, watch what the optional Night View Plus can do. A special camera can see things your eyes never could. But it's not just high-end cars with advanced camera technology. Subaru offers it on their new Legacy sedan. The system they call EyeSight watches the road as you drive. The lane departure warning or obstacle warning could help you avoid a crash. Now that it's on a lower-priced car like the Legacy, look for competitors to start adopting the technology too. Technology that helps make driving a bit safer. Dave Coons, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Much more news still to come here on Eyewitness News on LA56, including a big step in the cleanup in Westwood.
We'll have the latest on the efforts to repair the massive water main break and when Sunset Boulevard could reopen.
And caught on camera, a local food truck goes up in flames. We have the details.
Plus a run on bottled water in parts of Ohio. We'll have details on the presence of a toxin that has officials warning people not to drink the tap water.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News on LA56.
Updating our top stories, a couple in Pomona is shot and killed outside their home, and now police need the public's help finding their killers. It happened late last night on the 1000 block of East Lexington Avenue. Police say the man and woman were shot in front of their home. Investigators say a suspect or suspects walked up to the home and opened fire.
Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies shot and killed a parolee who held a woman hostage during an 8-hour standoff in Pico Rivera. But the woman's husband, 54-year-old Frank Mendoza, was caught in the crossfire and killed. Today, the suspect was identified as 24-year-old Cedric Ramirez.
An American doctor infected with the deadly Ebola virus in Africa is now in Atlanta for treatment. Dr. Kent Brantley is believed to be the first person infected with Ebola and brought back into the U.S. for treatment. He will be treated in an isolation room at Emory University Hospital. Good evening, I'm Giovanna Lotta.
And I'm Jory Rand. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56. There's still a lot of work to do in Westwood, where repairs continue after the massive water main break earlier this week. It spewed millions of gallons of water onto the UCLA campus. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter takes a look at the progress that's being made.
Workers shore up the newly repaired water main as officials test for leaks and begin to bring the line back up to its regular water pressure. Major progress on a major repair.
We completed the welding of all of the steel pipes to complete the repair. We are in the process of placing concrete thrust blocks that will protect the pipe in the soil from the tremendous pressures so it doesn't move.
But back on campus, more and more cars are moving as crews remove the vehicles from the two parking garages that were inundated when that massive water main broke, sending 20 million gallons of water onto the UCLA campus.
It was a pretty brutal few days, just waiting for emails and whether or not my car's alive, whether I have to go buy a new car. It was pretty nerve-wracking.
I'm really happy to be back here with my car. It's been stressful several days, a little bit of anxiety.
So far, only damaged vehicles are being removed. Crews are still working on removing all the water and mud that filled the lower levels of the structures, damaging hundreds of vehicles. UCLA says the waterlogged cars likely won't be pulled out until Tuesday or Wednesday. And at Pauley Pavilion, officials say efforts to save the newly renovated basketball court have failed. The entire thing will need to be replaced.
It was awful to see that happened to the campus and to people and their belongings, and it's been pretty stressful for everyone.
You can see the cement trucks are in line, ready to go. Crews are now beginning the slow and tedious task of filling in that massive hole before they can begin repaving the road. No official estimate yet on when this will be complete, but certainly everyone hoping Sunset will be reopened in time for the Monday morning commute. In Westwood, Leanne Suter, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
It looks like some rain is moving into the area. Let's get a check on the forecast with Danny Romero. Hey there, Danny.
How you doing, Giovanna and Jory? Yeah, let's take a look at the live mega Doppler 7000 HD, and we can see, again, it's mostly light rain moving through. We go back a little bit, we can see some stronger little cells around south of Palm Springs, up around Big Bear. But now, the very last frame shows you the light green indicating light rain moving through right now from the mountain areas and the desert areas and into some parts of the IE, reporting some light rain around Corona, around Chino, Israel, around Ontario. Getting some light rain right now. Just some light rain, nothing strong with that at all, but certainly moving in that area. But starting to dry out somewhat here in the early evening hours, late afternoon hours. We'll see more of that continuing tonight, where this rain does start to taper off a bit. But then tomorrow, humidity and heat back in place. What will it mean for your Sunday and then beyond that, the work week? I'll tell you when I come back with the live Mega Doppler 7000 HD 7 day in just a little bit. Right now, Jory and Giovanna, go ahead.
Danny, thanks. We'll see you then. A food truck catches fire in Venice, and it's all caught on video. This was the scene on Abbott Kinney Boulevard. A First Friday food truck event was underway when one of the food trucks suddenly caught fire. Firefighters responded and quickly put out the flames. There was some smoke and fire damage to the food truck, but fortunately, no one was hurt.
It will take 20 years and $4.4 billion to dismantle the San Onofre nuclear power plant. That's according to Southern California Edison. The utility says the work, set to begin in 2016, includes decommissioning units 2 and 3, plus managing and storing the used nuclear fuel until the federal government comes up with a permanent storage plan. They also need to restore the property for future use. Edison closed the plant for good last year after finding extensive damage to tubes carrying radioactive water. Officials already have the money and say unused funds will be returned to customers when the work is done.
An LAPD shotgun missing in South LA has now been recovered, and the man accused of stealing it is under arrest. Police say Taki Williams was arrested for snatching the gun after it fell off an LAPD motorcycle near Vermont and Martin Luther King Boulevard. A driver saw the weapon fall from the bike and alerted the officer a few blocks away. When he went back to retrieve it, the gun was gone, prompting an all-out search. Williams is being held on $35,000 bail.
The city of Toledo, Ohio, is coping with a major health threat this weekend after officials discovered dangerous toxins in the water supply. Now people are scrambling for bottled water as restaurants shut down. As ABC's Lindsay Janis tells us, there's no word yet on when the water will be safe to drink again.
Tonight, a state of emergency declared in the Toledo area, with more than 400,000 residents unable to drink or even boil their tap water. Panicked families lining up to get emergency supplies being trucked in from all over the state. Overnight, officials issuing an urgent notice after chemists found unacceptable levels of toxins in the water supply. The toxins capable of causing liver and nervous system damage, with symptoms ranging from nausea to numbness.
Until we know further, I believe that it would not be a safe practice to use water for human consumption and or for animal consumption.
By morning, some supermarkets selling out of bottled water as people filled up shopping carts, even entire cars.
If I don't have water, my baby doesn't eat, so that's going to be an issue.
Schools, restaurants, and businesses across the city closed.
They won't be able to wash dishes or get it on the plates that can be ingested. They won't be able to wash their vegetables or some of their food.
The toxins are believed to stem from this algae bloom visible from space on the south shores of Lake Erie. Scientists are now working to neutralize the toxins and have sent new water samples for testing, hoping they are now safe. Lindsay Janis, ABC News, New York.
A fiery explosion at a metal factory near Shanghai, China leaves dozens dead and hundreds more injured. The powerful blast happened this morning in the eastern province of Jiangsu. At least 65 people were killed in the explosion, 200 more were hurt. The impact left holes in the factory's walls, tore down ceilings, and reportedly sent large pieces of equipment flying through the air. Authorities believe combustible dust may be to blame for the accident. 5 of the company's executives have been detained for questioning.
Would you want to know if your next home has ever been a crime scene?
Still to come on Eyewitness News, we'll show you a new website that looks at the criminal history of property.
Plus, the selfie gets its own exhibit at one museum. We'll tell you where.
A bizarre story out of Houston. A woman is suing Facebook, claiming the social network took too long to remove a fake profile with so-called revenge porn. Miriam Ali claims that a man she dated 5 years ago created a fake page with nude photos of a person altered to look like her. She says every picture had her face placed on someone else's body. Ali's attorney says despite her repeated requests, Facebook left that profile active for months until the Houston Police Department sent a subpoena to take it down. The woman is suing for damages in the amount of $123 million.
You can easily check for leaky foundations or plumbing issues when buying a new home, but what about whether the place was once a crime scene? A new website, housecreep.com, claims to have all of those details. All you have to do is type in your home address and the website will tell you if there was once a drug lab on the premises or a grisly murder or even arson. About 20,000 homes across North America are now listed. Even though the information can be helpful, some experts say take caution.
Generally, most people do want to know what the past history of the house has been. I think as a caution for anybody using the site and taking the information off it would be to try to verify that information independently to make sure that it's accurate.
Users can also submit information about homes on the site. Real estate experts say if it's accurate, it could help in negotiations when buying a home. The art of taking a selfie is now on exhibit at the Palmer Museum in Alaska. The museum began taking online submissions after putting out a call to action. Take a selfie, send it in, and be a part of the conversation. The selfies will be on display at the museum all this month. The museum director says the goal is to get people thinking about the emotions behind the selfies. Go on, take one.
Hang on real quick, ready? Okay, we'll post that coming up. Check our Twitter feeds, really. Up next, a new Southern California charter school opens its doors for the very first time.
Still to come on Eyewitness News, we'll take you to a special ribbon-cutting ceremony in Maywood and show you some of what the new school has to offer.
I think I posted yours. I'm going to post it. Welcome back. It's the 8th day of the U.S. Open of Surf in Huntington Beach. Hundreds of people have been flocking to what's called the world's largest surf competition. Today's events include the women's and men's pro, junior, semifinals, and final. Fans throughout the week have been packing the beach at the crack of dawn to get a front row seat to the action. The competition wraps up tomorrow afternoon.
Danny looks good out there.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. A new charter school in Maywood welcomes families to the campus for the first time today, offering all kinds of fun and free services. It was all part of the ribbon-cutting ceremony at Clemente Charter High School. The campus offers transitional kindergarten through 3rd grade. Its grand opening featured free haircuts for students, as well as Zumba, massages, and manicures for moms. Love it. Clemente Charter aims for excellence in education.
We really pride ourselves on high academics. We have a rigorous academics. We offer lots of programs. It's completely free for everyone. You don't need to live in the city, in the neighborhood city. We welcome all families from all over the world.
The school plans to add a new grade level to its campus every year, all the way through junior high. Administrators encourage families to enroll their children. There are still spots open for this year.
All right, so Danny, we know it was a good day for surfing.
Yes, it was.
You know it was a good day for surfing, but also we're dealing with some issues out there as well.
Yeah, we still got some of that summer storming going on over Southern California, so while I was busy shredding this morning, we were storming in other spots. So go outside, take a look at our live Mega Opera 7000 HD. The look shows you, we wind it back a little bit and give an idea of some of the storming that went through the mountain and desert areas just a few hours ago. We can see it showing up here with the oranges, the yellows, the reds that were right there below Palm Springs, up around Big Bear as well. Those fired up a little earlier in the day, but now we can see this light green indicating light rain at the moment through those mountain and desert areas, and some seeping through to some of the IE, Corona, Ontario, Chino reporting light rain at this hour. We go to the map that shows you the watches and warnings in effect. We're going to put in a flash flood watch right now in the mountain and desert areas mainly. All the areas in green you see here will be under this flash flood watch, which means no flash floods are happening at the moment, but all the conditions are there for possibility. And this continues in this flash flood watch until 8 p.m. tomorrow. Just about every area you see there in the green. Now we look outside and we have a live HD camera of Irvine Spectrum area, and there things looking on the cloudy side through the OC. Downtown LA equally cloudy right now on a Saturday night, temperature at 75 degrees. Just barely a breeze of 5 miles per hour with our relative humidity at 71%. Still lots of moisture in the air. Here's why. All that tropical moisture moving up into the area. We're seeing this a really strong ridge of high pressure to our east driving some of that, but also part of this little weather picture right there, just kind of in a little counterclockwise motion. This low just off the coast spinning up a little energy as well. So we see those two things combined to give us that with the moisture, the warm temps we're showing you here. And overnight, only getting down to 74 in Covina, 77 in Palmdale. So not a lot of recovery overnight. So it stays pretty warm into the daytime highs tomorrow. We're going to see low 90s for the Palmdale and Santa Clarita areas. 78 in Malibu. We're showing you 80s and low 90s through the IE. Here's our 7-day powered by AccuWeather, giving you a shot at showers. We'll call it 20% tomorrow for LA Metro and Orange County. That includes the coastal spots. Still cloudy and humid on Monday, then less so on Tuesday. By Wednesday and Thursday into the weekend, temperatures drop down a little bit more of that marine layer influence during night and morning hours, and then sunshine in the afternoon. For the valleys, in the Inland Empire, chance thunderstorms again tomorrow. Hotter and humid still come Monday, then a sunny, warm couple of days midweek. As we head towards the weekend, less humidity in the air, and the heat drops down, too, into the weekend at 90 degrees. The mountain areas will be storming, and on the cooler side tomorrow, still storming on Monday. Then come Tuesday, Wednesday, the winds kick up. Things clear out as far as the humidity, and we stay gorgeous in the mountains. The mid-70s for the highs and into a very sunny weekend. High desert storming again tomorrow. Cloudy, warm, humid for a couple of more days. And then as we head towards midweek in the high deserts, we'll see less of that cloud cover, less of that tropical influence. But we will see temperatures in the low 90s by Friday and Saturday with some winds gusting about as well.
Okay. Danny, thank you.
Okay. And Kurt's here with a look at sports.
You know what's interesting with this trading deadline, remember the trading deadline really means that any team has to make a deal so the player doesn't have to clear waivers. And this week's trading deadline passed without the Dodgers making one move. But don't be surprised if they still make a move for a pitcher that would have to clear waivers, because yesterday pitcher Paul Maholm tore his ACL in his right knee. He was the candidate to replace the struggling Dan Herron in the rotation, and he's likely out the rest of the season. C.J. Wilson back on the bump for the first time since early July, and it looked like he came off the DL too soon. The dirtbag, Evan Longoria out of Long Beach, crushes one towards Miami. He's the first Rays player to hit 600 RBI, and CJ's nightmare wasn't over. Former Dodger James Loney's racing around there to make it a 3-0 game. Wilson knocked around to the tune of 6 runs, and he never made it out of the second inning. Tampa Bay, with 16 hits tonight, wins it by a count of 10-3. The NFL Hall of Fame class enshrined in Canton, Ohio tonight. 7 members, including the sack artist Michael Strahan, who still holds the single-season record with a nice bust there. But the big story, former Raider Ray Guy. He waited 22 years to become the first and only punter enshrined.
Believe me, it's been a long and winding road from the farmlands of South Georgia to the hallowed halls of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. They've been bumps, they've been curves, detours, and bridges to cross along this journey. But I have finally made it. It's been a long overdue. But now the Hall of Fame has a complete team.
And check this out. It kind of reminds me of Jory's goodbye party when he left Pittsburgh, right? To come join us at ABC7. A U.S. record 109,000 to watch Manchester U and Real Madrid. The Red Devils, led by Wayne Rooney, easily dispatched Cristiano Ronaldo's team by a count of 3-1. 109,000 breaks the record that was previously set at the Rose Bowl back in the 1984 Olympics, when they had a mere 101,000.
Yeah, all those people were just a little too excited to see me go. That was the problem.
Thanks, Kurt.
Thanks, Kurt.
New tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. It's a dangerous game spreading on social media. We'll tell you about a local teen who has been injured in the Fire Challenge, we'll explain. And a 150-pound tortoise found in a local neighborhood. Now police want to find its owners. Those stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7.
Well, the Hollywood Bowl is celebrating the musical.
Still to come on Eyewitness News, we'll take you behind the scenes of the musical Hair.
And it's a toe-tapping good time in downtown Los Angeles today. We'll show you some of the fun at the popular Square Dancing Festival. A Florida woman gets her class ring back that she thought was long gone after she ended an abusive relationship. Lynn Johnson says she graduated high school in 1980 and went to Texas with a man she thought she loved, but she says he became abusive. So she left him, but she also left everything she owned behind, including her class ring that her grandmother had saved up the money to buy. Well, 2 weeks ago, she got a call from a Texas couple who found her ring in some dirt, then tracked her down by tracing the information on the ring, including her barely visible signature.
This is something I never, in a million years, you couldn't have told me I would ever get this ring back, ever.
It's amazing. Johnson says she is so grateful that couple returned her ring to her.
They sure went through a lot to
Absolutely.
find her. Wow. The Hollywood Bowl is again celebrating the musical. We've seen Rent, Chicago, and Hairspray in the past, and now it's Hair, that groovy 1960s rock musical.
But Hair won't be here for long. It's only at the Bowl this weekend. Entertainment guru George Pinocchio takes us behind the scenes.
The 60s stage musical Hair has an all-star cast and a pretty famous director, too.
I believe that this piece works so perfectly at the bowl because there is no ceiling. You know, it goes out into space and orbit.
I've never done anything this freeing and taxing. You know, my hair is all out and it's big and dancing around and screaming some of these parts, and it's just such a free feeling when we're in there dancing and rehearsing.
Hair broke ground in musical theater when it began its Broadway run in 1968. The profanity, drugs, and sexual nature caused a lot of controversy. Plus, it had a very famous nude scene. What about this production?
Some people will be getting naked fully, some people will be half naked, and some people will not be getting naked at all. I myself am not. Not for me right now in my life.
I mean, any excuse I have to wear little to no clothing, I'll take it.
I don't think a lot of the principals are doing the nude scene. It's an unfortunate decision that has nothing to do with the artistic nature of it. It has to do with the fact that everyone has a cell phone camera.
George Pinocchio, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Well, if you're watching us right now, unless you're watching on your phone from inside the bowl, you likely missed tonight's viewing. You'll have one more chance to catch Hair tomorrow at the Hollywood Bowl.
It's time to celebrate square dancing in California. Take a look.
Nominate your partner, right, Sparkle? You guys are doing good.
That's right, grab your partner. This is the 26th year that square dancing has been the official folk dance of the state. There was a big celebration today in downtown LA. People of all ages participated. Organizers say square dancing can span generation after generation.
I personally have 3 generations. I square dance, my daughter square dances, and 3 of my granddaughters square dance. And me and my wife.
Free dance lessons were offered to the public as well.
Yeah, remember you tried to get me to dance last week on air? This is a little more my speed.
You could do that.
You just follow instructions, right?
I kind of knew that.
Do you don't or don't?
We're watching.
We'll see you at 11.
At 7.